guess I could sure use some cupcakes or some peanut butter cups about now. Yeah. You know what that's about? Yeah. So I guess you guys should vote, because voting kicks ass, right? And let me tell you, if you're going to vote, why not vote for Al Darley, right? Because, if voting kicks ass, what in the hell? Oh, please, God, I'm dreaming. You got some kick-ass shit. Oh, God, I'm a dead man. I'm hyperventilating. Oh. Because I'm born in the USA. You gotta fight for your right to vote. That's one small step for man, one giant. I have a dream. Power to the people. Right. They do this. Kill Whitey. No.
And on that note, let's start the show. Now, for anybody who has no idea what that's from, that is from a fantastic movie called Black Sheep. It's got Chris Farley, David Spade in it. Highly recommended. Hilarious movie, though. Pretty much any of the movie those two did together was hilarious. But I digress. So, welcome, everybody. It is week 10, right? Went ahead and decided to put on a show for tonight because I kind of realized that the next couple of nights would be difficult and then it would not be until Friday. And as much fun as it is doing a show Friday with some kind of results already, I really didn't feel like doing any of that. So went ahead and said, you know what? Forget it. I got time tonight. Let's get the show going tonight and let's talk about week 10. But first things first, right? If you haven't seen the rankings, we have ourselves a new number one. You see, what happened is the Ballers were doing really good, right? They had a really amazing run at home, going against all these ranked schools, and then they, found their way against the Thugonomics, and we live by a certain code, and we kind of deal things a little bit differently, and we were, we wanted to show them how things are done when you come to Hard Knocks Field. So we did what nobody else has been able to do so far. We took down number one for you. And I know there's one school that's very, very happy about that right now. Very happy. And that'd be our new number one school. And that new number one school, if you don't already know already, is the only undefeated school left in the TCAA coming out of the SEC. They are 9-0. They are now the new number one. They're not overall number one because Kentucky is still holding that top spot in power rankings. But new number one, Presbyterian Blue Hose. So congratulations there, Presbyterian. I saw your post from last night. You're sitting on pins and needles. I'll tell you, that Monday night game did not go the way I thought it was going to go. I really thought that Kamara was going to actually be more productive, which was scaring me considering that the Ballers had Kamara. And I figured it was going to have to be a who's be able to outshine who between Lamar and Kamara. And, I mean, obviously Lamar did. But the game did not go the way I thought it was going to go. I thought for some reason Alvin was just going to be used a lot more and be more effective, and there wasn't. Andy Dalton just wasn't good. I was actually quite on it. I was quite surprised at halftime they didn't just say, you know what, it's Taysom Hill. Let's just go Taysom Hill or bust now. Who cares? Bring some excitement, and they never did. I'm kind of shocked that they didn't do that. I feel like if they would have gone in the second half with Taysom Hill, between Hill and Kamara, that would have been crazy, like wildcat style offense, college style, like triple option style of play. And I feel like they probably would have actually done better. Maybe could have pulled off a victory, New Orleans, but it is what it is. And so new number 1, Presbyterian Blue Hose, 9-0, last remaining undefeated school. So congrats to them. Moving down one spot is those Kentucky Bourbon Ballers after their loss last week to the Thugs. They're now their number 2 school. Staying put at number 3, Grimes State University. Moving up to number 4, 3 spots after defeating number 1, University of Thugonomics. Number 5, moving up 4 spots, is Louisiana University Knights. Entering back into the top 10, into number 6, is the LSU Mud Dogs. Had their bit of a slide the last couple of weeks and were able to make it back in after dropping out last week. So congrats to them. Welcome back. Number 7, dropping down after being upset last week. Now they're at number 7 is Queensland's Tech Hokies. Number 8, moving up 2 spots, Jefferson Community College. Number 9, dropping down 4 spots, is Taytown Criminals University. And then back into the top 10 again, number 10, Florida State Fighting Raccoons. Dropping out of the top 10, Bushy Central College and Purdue Plague. Purdue kind of going on that run that SCLSU went on, losing 3 straight games in a row while ranked, dropping themselves out of the top 10. So there is your new top 10. Now, let's get into the games for this week. Let me flip over to that screen. There is 0 ranked versus ranked matchups this week. It is conference week, right? So that's why I got a lot of time today. So this is going to be a longer show than normal because I do want to kind of talk about the standings at the same time with the matchups, just because, the matchups of the ranked schools within their conference. I'm not going to go over every damn matchup. That'd be insane. So we're going to go over 10 matchups here. So, good amount of them. So it's going to be a little bit of a longer show, but I'll try not to get too crazy into it. But I did want to kind of discuss if it's a ranked matchup and who they're facing, what that can mean when it comes to the rankings and everything like that. Or not the rankings, but the standings and, conference play and why it's important. Because, this is game 3 here going into the conference. So a lot of things can happen. If you're 0-2, you definitely don't want to fall 0-3. And if you drop down to 1-2, move up to 1-2, you have a shot. You could definitely make it into the conference title game at 3-2. It's a little bit harder if you drop to 0-3, though. You're unlikely going to make it at 2-3. Throwing that out there. So a lot to play for in this in these conference matchups here. So like I said, week 10. Big important one coming up here, guys. So let's get into first the game of the week. It is eventually pulling up all the matchups here. And eventually is going to pull up the matchups. No, we're just going to look at the exact same damn screen over and over. Okay, not going as I planned. But here we go. Now we're getting somewhere. All right. Matchups. This is going to be a little bit early on, trying to look at who's got what lineups and stuff like that. There's some crazy bye weeks going on and stuff. So not everybody's probably had a chance to set their lineup. So not too worried about that. I'll probably just more talk about what it's going to look like when it comes to the matchups. So first and foremost, we're going to pop in and talk about game of the week. As earlier announced, it's going to be Purdue Plague. They're on that 3-game losing streak, like I said, dropping out of the top 10. They're going on the road to face number 8, the 6-3 Jefferson Community College Southwest. Rosters are not completely set yet, so I'm not going to go over them yet. I see a couple of zeros in each spot there for each school. So they've got some people on bye weeks or people hurt right now, so we won't even worry about excuse me, their matchup there. But what we will do is take a look at 6 and see what their matchup looks like. And I believe the reason I picked this matchup was that both these schools are 2-0 in their conference. So a win here puts them at 3-0. That also has that tiebreaker in case they happen to be tied up. Because after it goes into your conference, you get your win-loss, and then there's the head-to-head. So that head-to-head matchup is a nice third tiebreaker if you happen to be tied both conference and overall win-loss. So both are 2-0. So win here is a good solidification, I'd say, making it closer to getting into that conference, going down to 2-1. A little bit of a battle, depending on how the rest of your conference is doing, but these two are at the top of their conference right now. If all things, didn't, I guess, stayed the same, they'd be facing each other. But so they've got a couple of, like I said, they got a couple of things that they can work on here. But right now, the Duke MU is at 1-1. Springfield University is at 1-1. So they're looking to get a victory themselves and hoping that they can climb into this race here because someone else is going to be in that second spot, most likely, depending on how it all works out. But it's what you want here. So big matchup here for the Big Six. One of these schools is going to have a nice step in, I'd say, closer into getting in the conference matchup already, where one falls behind and could get themselves kind of get into a tied up situation between overall record and stuff like that. So, and then in the bottom of that conference, 0-2 is DVAP University and Telford Tornadoes. They need some help. They need to pretty much win out. DVAPU's got a 6-3 record, but sitting 0-2 in conference play. So they definitely need to get themselves. I mean, if they could finish 3-2, that puts them in a really good conference record. And with their overall record, it's going to pole vault them up within their conference just with that record. So they cannot afford to lose another conference game. Neither one of them really. But DBAP, with their great overall record, they stand more to lose out and have a problem getting in the conference, without that win. So big matchup there. So DBAP needs to get that victory for sure. Telford needs to get that victory if they want to get a shot in there. Springfield and Duke, I'm looking to obviously win their matchups. For all I know, they could be facing each other. But like I said, Jefferson Community College, Purdue Plague, game of the week. Winner here puts themselves at 3-0 in their conference and gives them a really good shot at getting into conference title play when it comes to it in 5 weeks from now, pretty much 4 weeks from now. So, all right, there's one matchup there that we talked about. Let's get into the ACC. And the ACC's got a lot of ranked schools right now. So we're going to talk about them a little bit more than maybe some of these other conferences, just because of all the ranked matchups got going on. So you've got first one here is number 10, returning back into it, Florida State Fighting Raccoons, 6-3. They're going on the road to face the 4-5 Evil Empire University. Once again, not really talking too much on the matchups here in a sense because no one's got their lineups scheduled or lineups prepped up yet. Another matchup in the ACC, you got Louisiana, number 5 on the road facing the 4-5 University of Dallas Spurs. And where's the next matchup with them? And then the other matchup here is number 9, Taytown Criminals University at home taking on Brock State University. So let's look at what this can do to the ACC real quick. Pull them up. All right. So in the ACC, at the top of it is 2-0 conference records of Louisiana and Taytown Criminals. 1-1 Florida State and Brock State. And then 0-2 is Evil and Dallas Spurs. So obviously for Evil and University, or for the Dallas Spurs, they are definitely looking to get that victory. They both actually have won 2 in a row, so they're on a good momentum here, getting into a next conference matchup. But they both definitely need to get themselves a victory to get themselves closer, and that'd be a good win because Evil Empire, is going up against the number which one were they? Were going up against number 10, Florida State. Dallas Spurs going up against number 5, Louisiana. And then Brock State going up against number 9, Town Criminals. So these matchups are definitely huge on what can happen in the ACC. You got 3 schools at 6-3. The ranked schools are all 6-3, and then the unranked schools are all 4-5. So they're just pretty much right behind each other, 2 games behind each other. But in conference play, anything can happen. All it takes is, 3 to 4 victories in conference and you're good. So obviously here, Florida State needs a win to get themselves up there 2-1. Brock State obviously would like to get themselves in there 2-1, and then Evil Empire and University of Dallas Spurs obviously need to get that first victory. Either one of them falls 0-3, they're going to be pretty much out of luck in the ACC. So there is what that looks like there. Let's look up some other matchups. Let's go. Who is the next one we will talk about? Looks like Big East is popping up next. So you got number 7 Queensland Tech Hokies at home taking on FACU University. They are on a nice 2-game winning streak. FACU, they had been winless and picking up 2 big wins back to back. Now they're going on facing another ranked school here, number 7 Queensland Tech. So big matchup there. You've got Sucks to Be University 5-4 going on the road to face University of Thugonomics at number 4. They're 6-3 going to Hard Knocks Field. Everybody's got their players possibly set. It's hard to tell. But like I said, we're not going to worry too much there. And then the other 2 schools are not ranked, and I think they're both of those schools are at the bottom of the Big East anyway. Yeah. All right, so let's look here. So 2-0 in conference play right now is Queensland Tech and Sucks to Be You. 1-1, Bushy Central College and University of Thugonomics. 0-2 is Central CH and FACU University. So obviously both of those schools are looking to get that first conference win. Thugonomics and Bushy Central looking to get themselves to 2-1. In both of them, let's see, Thugs are playing, like we said, Sucks to Be You. And then it was Central CH was going up against Bushy Central. And then with Queensland going up against FACU too. So, for some of us in the Big East, obviously right now I'm rooting for FACU too to, defeat Queensland to get them to 2-1. And then obviously the Thugs needed to handle their own business and beat Sucks to Be You to put them to 2-1. And then Thugonomics would be at 2-1 and be a nice little fun bunch up there. And then if Bushy Central were to win, they'd be 2-1. So we could have a little craziness going on in the Big East after week 10 here, as a lot of us are 6-3. Sucks to Be You sitting there at 5-4. So depending on how that goes, it could be crazy. But that's kind of what that looks like there. I'll be able to start figuring out between wins and losses and stuff as we get into the next couple of conference games, what's needed, what the picture looks like, who's in, who's out, and stuff like that. But obviously those 0-2 schools, Central CH and FACU, definitely need to get their victories in to even stand a chance. All right, next conference that's going to pop up on here should be the Mountain 6, and there they are. All right, let's see what we've got here. We've got number 3, Grimes State University at home taking on the Calvary Centaurs. Centurions keep changing the name on me. Grimes State, 8-game winning streak, lost that first week of the season, rattled off 8 straight wins since then, has been nonstop. Calvary's kind of on a little downslide. Things haven't worked out. It's kind of, not every week for them. Hasn't worked out the best for them. Number 2, University, Bourbon Ballers, going on the road to face the 1-8 Animal House College. Probably should be a pretty easy win for Bourbon Ballers. And then the next matchup down there in their conference is unranked schools. So let's look at what their conference Mountain 6. Let's pull it up. All righty. All right. So no surprise on who the 2-0 schools are, Bourbon Ballers and Grimes State University. So obviously both of them are going to want to try and get that win to be 3-0. I do know that they face each other at the end of the season. They're the last game of the season in conference matchup in week 13. So could easily be a rematch. Could be the ones who end up facing each other in the conference, title game, or could be a matchup of who's going to be in, who's going to be out, depending on how they do this week, right? If either one of them loses, they could both lose. They're going to both go to 2-1. You got Winchester University looking to get that win. They'd put them at 2-1. Calvary would be at 2-1 if they were to win, since they're facing, I think it was Grimes State. If they were to pull that victory off, and then they'd get that head-to-head against them. And then you got 0-2 sitting down there, Upper Sandusky and Animal House, both with really bad losing records as well, 2-7, 1-8. So I kind of think that they're already out of the equation, but there's still a lot to play for, because if you're actually active and you're losing, and active is a very, very key word, because that involves recruiting, that involves walk-ons and all that other good stuff, setting lineups, can get you into that, that recruiting bowl game, the toilet bowl game. And if not, then, you get nothing and you just have had a bad record. So they have something to kind of still play for, even at 1-8, 2-7. I would say a shot at the conference is not likely for either one of those schools. But for Calvary and Winchester, they definitely have a chance to get into their conference, with them both being at 1-1. So there is your Mountain 6 quick view, as we say. All right, next one's going to be Pac-6. Unfortunately, the Pac-6 does not have anybody ranked again. And honestly, I can't. They're just – the Pac-6 is having one of those seasons that they've never had as a conference ever. Nobody's above 500 or better. It's just a really down year for the Pac-6. It's very shocking, honestly, that the entire conference is having this downish of a year. So for a lot of them, the schools are good and they're just not having a great year. So it could still, for them, an 0-2 school conference record, maybe they can rally off and find their way into the conference matchup. You just never know, really. Especially with a lot of them not having really great records overall, it could be a crazy tiebreaker session if they can get these head-to-head. So 2-0 in the conference. You've got pretty much the two better schools that have been in and out of the rankings, with OCS, Ocean State College Destroyers, and Missouri Manscapers. They both have 2-0 records in conference play. 1-1's Greenville Green Devils and Samurai Jackson University, and then 0-2, Philly U and Delta Phi Gamma. Delta Phi really having a rough year, but pretty much the entire conference, as I've said, it's having a rough year. But after that great seasons they've had last year, Delta Phi, Samurai Jackson just having a really bad year as well. But fantasy football, man, right? So with their matchups, let me see who they're kind of facing here. You got Samurai Jackson going against Philly U, Ocean Spray versus Delta, and then it's Manscapers versus Greenville. So a lot of changes can definitely go. This is a matchup. Like I said, these schools, a lot of them are having a down year, obviously outside of the conference and stuff like that. So, see what they can do, right? You never know. 0-2 can definitely possibly get a shot here. You're going to be, if you can get 3-0 going into this one, after this, you're sitting really good in the Pac-6, I would say, just because of the way the down year is going for them. So Samurai obviously looking to win their game, to improve their record, get themselves to 2-1 in the conference. I know it's not the year he's used to having, but you're still getting your conference, right? That's the one thing Pac-6 can be playing for. Get into the conference, get into their conference, maybe work your way into a good bowl game if you can start winning out here. So good luck to everybody in the Pac-6. All right. Last one we'll talk about, SEC matchups here with ranked schools. You've got number 1 Presbyterian Blue Hose at home They are taking on Vestal Tech Community College, who's having themselves a down year. They have a 3-year history facing each other, where Vestal Tech is 3-0. So obviously, Presbyterian's looking to change that up and continue on their winning streak. Number 6, Mud Dogs are on the road facing the 2-7 Volunteers. And then the other matchup is unranked versus unranked. So let's take a look at what their conference looks like when we're looking at conference play. So overall, 2-0 in the schools. I guess not too much of a shock at the moment is the 2 ranked schools, Presbyterian, the Mud Dogs. 1-1s, Allen Wrench and Quack Attack, and then 0-2, Vestal Tech and the Volunteers. So, win here for Presbyterian with considering their current 9-0 record, was at a 10-0, I would say is a pretty solid lock of getting into the conference play at 3-0, because if they were to drop to 3-2, I don't think there wouldn't be anybody that could tie them. I don't think that could reach them because of their overall record, unless somehow they would lose out. And the rest of their conference catches up to them. They got Mud Dogs at 6-3. You've got Allen Wrench at 4-5, Vestal Tech at 4-5, but Vestal's at 0-2. So they need a lot of work to catch up to them. Quack Attack's sitting at 3-6 and 2-7. It's a lot of work to catch up to them. So, unless Presbyterian loses the remaining 3 conference matchups, I would say they pretty much kind of have their conference locked to get into their conference title game. But, let's not put the cart before the horse here, right? Or the horse before the cart, whichever way that saying goes. And I know Presbyterian wants to continually rattle off this nice undefeated streak here. Last year, Allen Wrench ran, I think it was 12-0 before losing the final game of the regular season. And here we are again with the SEC having themselves the final remaining undefeated school again, rolling through 9-0. So, and I want to say the Mud Dogs were pretty close. We're going kind of like neck and neck with it last year. I want to say, I feel like both of the schools in the SEC were going neck and neck undefeated, I believe. And then there was like Samurai Jackson was behind them with 1 loss or something. But anyway, so matchups there, discuss those, who they're facing, stuff like that. So, big matchup for those 1-1 schools. The 1-1 schools, 0-2 schools need to get that victory in as well. And then obviously for 2-0, get that 3-0 victory. And that's going to be sitting pretty for you in your conference title matchup. But still a lot to go on with those 2 other matchups. So I don't think you're out, even if you're 2-1. You definitely got a shot. 1-2, you got a lot more to work for. 0-3, I would say you're out. You have 0 shot at conference title matchups. And depending what your overall record is, still have a shot at bowl games. But like I said, there's always that recruiting toilet bowl. So there you go. That's what it looks like right now for week 10. If you haven't noticed the message I put in the Slack already about how I had to adjust the final recruiting period, because I completely forgot about how there is additional points that your school earns for bowl wins and conference title wins and stuff like that. I think I was trying to cram everything all within the season while everybody was still paying attention with the national title games and stuff like that. But I realized it's not going to be possible. So that week we'll do the final recruiting when the NFL does their wild card playoff. So that's pretty much it there. Trying to get ourselves a nice little song to get us out of here with. And I am not. We'll go with this one. So hope everyone has themselves a pretty good week 10.
The holidays were a lonely time.
Lower that real quick, and we will see everybody once we are all done with all of that and stuff like that. So let's all have ourselves a good week 10. Everybody went out there and voted today. Hope it was what you're looking for. Fortunately, there's a lot of states that doesn't matter what you vote for. It's going to be that, that color. So it's what it is. Say what it is. Say what you want. But let's go a little Youth of the Nation, a little POD to get us out of here. Week 10. Catch everybody next week. All right. Let's all have a good night. All have a good week. See ya.
favorite day before I skated off to school. But who knew that this day wasn't like the rest? Instead of taking the test, I took 2 to the chest. I only thought that I didn't see it coming, and everybody was running, but I couldn't hear nothing except gun blast. It happened so fast, I didn't really notice, kid, though I survived the class. Maybe this kid was reaching out for love.